Hey everybody, thanks for showing up, and thanks for logging in wherever you are to listen to Nick and I have a quick chat. Hopefully the slides move forward. There we go. So I do want to point out I am not a Moonbeam founder. Thank you for whoever gave me a promotion. Derek, if you're out there, we can talk later. But I lead ecosystem for Moonbeam. So I essentially work with a lot of the teams to come build with us, to connect folks. I've been called the matchmaker of Moonbeam in many ways. So I wanted to take you back a little bit in terms of, I think there are a lot of teams building in the ecosystem right now that, everybody needs to build their own ecosystem of collaboration, and not being a crypto native isn't something that should make you feel disqualified. And so I wanted to take you back to where we started. Thank you, sir. And give you some background on the team and how we got to where we are today. So I made this slide in May 2019, and I made sure we didn't update this because it's intentionally brutal, because this was my first attempt of figuring out crypto in 2019 when proof of stake was just coming out. And so, I was truly not a crypto native at all, and I'm surprised Derek even hired me after I put this slide together. But I did want to just point out how we started to think about, okay, this ecosystem of proof of stake is coming, and how do we, pure stake, get ourselves involved? So in October of 2019, again, I kept these dated, Derek had said to me, hey, we're going to start looking at Polkadot. I want you, the sales guy, to go figure out who we need to meet. How do we start working with teams? How do we figure out what we want to build here? At the time, we were doing a lot of infrastructure and validators. And so he was like, I want you to go become an ambassador. And so this is me at our first ambassador meeting. And this is not to point out my age or anything along those lines, or the age of the folks on the call. But I was a true outsider. I had no idea what I was doing when it came to crypto and came to Polkadot. I was just figuring it out. And so move forward, 3, 4, 5 months, and we still didn't have Moonbeam at this point. We were still figuring out what we wanted to do moving forward. We knew we wanted to build in Polkadot, but we didn't know essentially what we wanted to do. But I liked this slide because it kept that. If you saw Derek's talk earlier today, these are still some of the things we're talking about and that are just coming to fruition now. And so we actually did a Polkadot it was a Polkadot meetup in Boston where Derek presented this. And so again, we're still thinking about what we're going to be building. And at this point, it was still figuring out how do we just continue to connect ourselves to projects in this ecosystem and make friends, essentially. So I kept this one as well. Again, still pre-Moonbeam, still figuring out what we wanted to do. But I was going through old slides, as you can tell. These are still very dated. But the topics that we talked about then we're still seeing are finally coming to fruition with the Polkadot ecosystem, and thinking about, okay, if this is what Polkadot can provide, what do we want to build moving forward? And that's where Moonbeam came in. And we announced Moonbeam and kind of what we were building. I think it was late April, but we really didn't get into it until August. And so what we did leading up to that was we were just talking to people. We were trying to figure out what can we build here that's going to be impactful? What do people want? What is missing? And so we came up pretty quickly with, okay, let's try and be the EVM for Polkadot. And how do we do that? And what can we provide builders here that we're hearing isn't necessarily readily available? So for anyone that's building, a parachain, or even building, something on top of a smart contract platform, for me, it was really figuring out we had to land what I'd call like an anchor tenant, if you will. You had to get something that validated what you were building. And for us, this was really it. And it was September 2020. We worked with the team at Stellaswap to have them go multi-chain with Moonbeam, and have Moonbeam and Moonriver be the places that they deployed into the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystems. And so, for us, this was really kind of what I'd call like the launch pad into what we've been building, and really drove a bunch of developers and a bunch of interest into what we'd been evangelizing, which was come build in Polkadot. Why? Because Polkadot's an amazing ecosystem. The things that are going to come with native interoperability via XCM. If you don't necessarily want to build a parachain, great. You can use Moonbeam to take your Solidity-based smart contracts, deploy them, and now have access to this entire ecosystem. And so this, I generally talk to folks when they're looking at building, how do you build an ecosystem? How do you build a community? You've got to try and find some kind of first anchor that can validate what you're building, because from there, then you have something to continue to point back to, which gets people building and excited. So I wanted to, again, going back to the fact that I was not a crypto native, I didn't know what I was doing, I was trying to figure it out. I wanted to try and just give people some, pieces to focus on when you're looking at building your community and building your ecosystem. So one, don't forget the soft skills. So I am not a developer. I wish I was. I was never smart enough to be one. I was more of a salesperson than anything else. And so focusing on, we've been building our ecosystem since, like I said, September, August 2020. You got to start early. Bring in people who can help you kind of get your brand out there, get your message out there, and figure out, where's your product fit. Go talk to developers and be able to kind of sell the vision of what you're building. Find good advisors. And that doesn't just mean go find VCs who want to invest. It's go find people who are actually aligned with what you're trying to build and can open up doors that you may not have access to. So for us, we worked with a couple of different teams that had pretty deep roots in the Ethereum space and could help us go talk to people that were building. And did this resonate? Did this Solidity-based smart contract approach for Polkadot? Was that interesting? Did it matter? Absolutely, and these folks were critical to helping us kind of getting our ecosystem established. Give ways to engage. So, one thing is, Twitter is fantastic for many reasons, but at the same time, you need to give people something to do. You can't just have them tweet things. You need to give them challenges, get them engaged, get them excited, and if it's developers, put challenges out there. Get people using what you're trying to build and giving feedback, and it gives a sense of community when folks are coming together trying to win a prize or something along those lines. So give folks something to do to get invigorated and excited about what you're building. And then community. Community is everything in this space. And shout out to Kathy on our marketing team. She is an amazing, amazing, amazing person to lead our community. She does a ton with ambassadors. Get folks that are early to your project, that see the vision and see what you're trying to build, and empower them. Get them to go talk about what you're doing. Get them aligned with you, because ultimately that community is what is really going to support you through thick and thin if you have people that really care about what you're building. So if you saw Derek earlier, he probably touched on a lot of this, but why do people even want to deploy to Moonbeam at this point? What are we talking about? We're talking a lot about connected contracts today, but I think there's kind of two buckets. There's EVM-targeted multi-chain deployments, which is what Sushi was, right? Teams that are deploying either on Ethereum or AVAX, or they're deploying on Moonbeam to start, but are seeing now, well, I need to address a larger total addressable market than I have in one ecosystem, so I need to expand to these other chains. And how do I do that? There are other teams that are Polkadot native that say, look, I want to be native to Polkadot, but I'm not necessarily looking to build my own parachain. I can work with Moonbeam, I can deploy here, and I can work with Akala, Parallel, A-Star, Kilt, all the ones you see here, to be able to leverage some of the amazing parachains that are building unique capabilities into them. And then some of the, there we go. And then, what are some of the prerequisites? So when I step back and think about, okay, it's one thing to offer just a product, but there's generally all these ancillary things around it. So you need to think about what other tools or what other connections need to be made to make your platform powerful. And so for us, it was really looking at, if you think about Ethereum compatibility, it's one thing to be able to have code work, but you need to think about, okay, well then there's explorers, there's oracles, there's developer frameworks. You have to think about all the tools that go around that to make it successful and make sure you provide that. And then that really leads to Moonbeam being a place that we feel is going to be the most interoperable in the space for folks to build on Moonbeam and expand multi-chain if they'd like to, using XCM internally to Polkadot, and then externally using some of the partners that we work with as well. So I want to bring up, I'm going to hand it over to Nick, who's going to take us through downtown Moonbeam and what they're up to, and talk a little bit about the ecosystem. Yeah.
Thank you, Nate.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. My name is Nick. I'm the team leader with Downtown Moonbeam. So what is Downtown Moonbeam? Downtown Moonbeam is a curated list of projects that are building on the Moonriver and Moonbeam ecosystem. And where did we come from? We're actually users of, we were users of Moonbeam, we're users of Polkadot, we're community members in this ecosystem. And we started off as just a bunch of people talking on Clubhouse about Polkadot back during the COVID days. So we came from there, we ended up developing this platform, Downtown Moonbeam, and community focused. So here is an infographic that we created, so as you can see, there's plenty of projects in the Moonbeam Moonriver ecosystem, and this is one of the things that Downtown Moonbeam does. So we're not just we don't just list projects. We actually want to help grow this ecosystem, and one of the ways we do that is by this multifaceted approach of community building. So infographics, Twitter, tweet threads, things like that. We have like a lot of these. We have a lot of these infographics that we're working on currently. So a little bit more about Downtown Moonbeam. We divide each of the projects into different categories, obviously. So when you go to our website, we have everything listed in these categories. So we'll start with DeFi. I'm just going to go through and highlight a couple of the projects that in the ecosystem that we think are really, really important. First one being Moonwell. Moonwell, if you haven't heard about it, it's a decentralized lending protocol. It's actually really cool. You can deposit an asset into the protocol, and then you can borrow against that asset. Now, you don't have to. Doesn't have to be just a stable coin, for example. You can deposit any of the assets and borrow against that with any of the assets on the ecosystem. For example, deposit Moonriver into, and then you could borrow something like. You could borrow USDT, USDC. You have many options with that. Now, this allows users to have more liquid assets. You can. One of the things that I personally do is I'll borrow against it and then take those USDT or USDC that I borrow and then go and farm in another protocol and another project, provide liquidity. Or staking, or anything of that nature. So Stellaswap. So for example, take your borrowed assets from Moonwell, and then bring them into Stellaswap, and now you have built-in token bridge. You have staking. So Xstella staking, really cool. APY, great. In case you haven't checked it out. It's something like 60–70% on top of or something like that. And one of the really cool integrations that I like is this MAI integration. So QiDAO. QiDAO is a decentralized lending protocol similar to MakerDAO or DAI, if you're familiar with that. Over collateralized deposition model. It's soft pegged to the dollar and functions like a liquidations model. So it's not like other stable coins where we have issues. This is more of, in my opinion, a much safer model. It's bridged with 12 chains using AnySwap. And it's native. The assets are native to Moonbeam and Moonriver. So moving into the infrastructure section. So this is really important. So one of the issues that a lot of people say, a lot of people talk about in the Polkadot ecosystem is the lack of user interface, UI UX. So this Talisman wallet is. Their aim and their goal is to fix that. So provides much more information when you're using it compared to, say, Polkadot.js. It is EVM compatible and substrate compatible, so you don't have to use two wallets. You can just use one wallet when you're working in this ecosystem. It's non-custodial, just like you're used to, where it doesn't store private keys. Has a web app dashboard as well, which is really cool. It functions sort of like a portfolio manager where you can see what assets you have across the entire ecosystem. And also, it has, you can check out your tokens, you can check out your NFTs. There's also another project very similar to this, which is called Subwallet. It's not, I don't have it mentioned here and highlighted, but it's also very similar. You can check that out as well. Kiyomi Wallet. So this is a new one. This is something that has been integrated into Moonbeam as of the ETH Denver hackathon, and the founder of Kiyomi is a good friend of mine. He's one of the Polka House founders. It's an augmented reality wallet, which is really cool. So you can take your NFTs and you can open up your phone and you can place your NFTs in the world around you. You can have you can see 3D, if there's any 3D videos, or and you could actually place those NFTs, take screenshots, show your friends, and it's a really interesting. Really interesting wallet. It's integrated with Solana and now Moonbeam. They're doing they actually have a release that's coming out soon where you'll be able to download and use this wallet. Now, cross-chain integrations. This is so Nomad. Nomad is really important in the Moonbeam ecosystem. They're doing really great work with cross-chain messaging. What they do is different than normal bridge, where you're just locking up assets and minting new assets on the other side. They're actually creating message passing between chains. The way they're doing that is with a smart contract system, where you can deploy smart contracts on each chain, and then they use an optimistic roll-up like technology in order to keep it secure. It's a bridge. It bridges Ethereum and Moonriver, and they're currently working on more implementations to bridge with more chains. What really impresses me about Nomad is that they're looking to create a standard. They're working with other bridging protocols to try to standardize this message passing. That way, chains can be much more easily interoperable in the future. Axelar also works with Nomad. It's not highlighted, but you can see it in the general message passing. They're working very closely with Nomad to build out this technology. Additionally, it's again not highlighted, but as you can see, there's integrations between all the parachains. So Moonbeam has this cross-chain bridge where you can mint new assets and transfer your tokens between all the listed parachains we have there. So I love NFTs, and these are two of my favorite projects. Canarius Skybreach uses Remark, and if you haven't heard about Remark, it's an NFT standard which allows nested NFT ownership. You can have NFTs that own NFTs, and you can have multi-resource composable NFTs. And what that means is you can update these NFTs in the future. You could have a 3D version of it, you could have a 2D version of it, and then in the future you can add as many resources as you want. And what Skybreach is it's a 2D metaverse that uses this standard. The land sales are currently live. For anybody who's interested, you can, I think maybe by the end of the week, the public will be able to, the general public will be able to participate. Right now, anybody who has like blue chip NFTs, like Bored Ape Yacht Club or things like that, or you're able to mint these. Now, Neon Crisis, special shout out to this team. They're the first to mint a Remark NFT on Moonbeam ecosystem. The team behind Neon Crisis did a lot of work to help develop this standard and the EVM version of this Remark standard. It's a cyberpunk anime-inspired brand, and they are combining real-world assets and digital assets. So you'll have streetwear brand partnerships, merch stores, metaverse integrations, battle tournaments. So they're live now. You can check that out, Neon Crisis. Moonsama. Now, Moonsama is one of the largest communities in the Polkadot ecosystem, and they're one of the greatest communities in all of NFTs. They're nominated for the top community in for NFT NYC. Now, they have multi-chain, like it says, multi-chain equipable NFTs. So it's what they call a multiverse. It's multiple metaverses that are connected, where you can use the same NFT in multiple projects. So one of these projects being Pansama. Pansama is a battling game where you can mint NFT fish, and the way you do that is you play Carnage. Carnage is a weekly, I guess, battle royale. Not a battle royale. It's just a weekly Minecraft game where you can mine resources and then export those resources into ERC tokens. And then you take those tokens, you can combine them, and then build things like skins, weapons, and fish. The fish poop, and you can use that poop also and sell that poop and make money. It's called alpha poop, interestingly enough. And so now what they're doing is they're also creating Exosama. That's Exosama is being minted on Ethereum, actually Ethereum, and what they want to do is bring in new users to this ecosystem. I'll just go through this a little quickly. This is another one of those infographics that we have. So you have to run through this a little bit quick. So Gelato is a smart contract, a scheduling platform that allows you to automate things in your smart contract ecosystem. Zeppelin. This is a standard which allows you to, which developers can use to have safe smart contracts and safe, allows you to create tokens in a safe manner. DBank, I'll just skip to the screenshot of this. This is really interesting. It's a portfolio manager. You can follow wallets. You can track your assets across multiple ecosystems, and it has integrations with projects like Moonwell, where you can see your portfolio, even if it's in a smart contract. It's not specifically to your in your wallet. It doesn't have to be in your wallet. Dex Screener. This is like, to me, if you're a really degen kind of trader and you want to check, you want to be able to look at charts on in a decentralized exchange, this is one of the best places to do it. You can set price alerts on your Telegram. You can trade with a trading view, and you have multiple chains that you can actually access here. Well, thank you guys for coming to the speak. Check us out on Twitter, DTMB_XYZ. Reach out to us and say hi. Thank you very much.